Hybrid and electric cars. Global warming is a rising issue in our world today. One of the main causes of global warming is too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide acts as a blanket trapping heat and warming the planet. In our country, about 33% of these carbon dioxide emissions comes from transportation. One way to reduce these emissions is to use of hybrid and electric cars. By using hybrid cars, which use a combination of gasoline and electric power, and rechargeable electric vehicles that use no gasoline at all, we can have a huge impact on the environment. In fact, according to Peter Lithanthal, who does research for the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, making the switch from gasoline cars to hybrid and electric vehicles, we would see a 42% national average reduction in carbon dioxide emissions. While hybrid and electric cars have many things in common, they also have several differences in how they work. Hybrid vehicles are run by hybrid engines. Hybrid engines are engines that use two or more energy sources for power. These engines use a combination of benefits found in gasoline engines and electric motors in order to obtain different objectives, such as improved fuel economy and increased power. They are built to be lighter and more streamlined for better efficiency. This allows them to run on less horsepower and produce less pollution. Hybrids typically use the advanced technology of regenerative braking, electric motor drive assistance, and automatic start and shut off. Regenerative braking is when the electric motor applies the resistance to the drivetrain, which makes the wheels slow down. In a gasoline-powered car, this energy is usually wasted, but in a hybrid, the motor acts as a generator and converts this energy into electricity that is then stored in a battery until needed by the electric motor. The electric motor drive assistance provides additional power when accelerating, passing, or hill climbing, allowing a smaller, more efficient engine to be used. Automatic start and shut off turns the engine off when stopped and turns it back on once the car begins accelerating. This avoids wasting energy when the car is idling. An electric car works through an electric motor rather than a gasoline engine. The controller of an electric car gives the electric motor its power, and the controller gets its power through the use of rechargeable batteries. Rather than filling up a gasoline engine with gas over and over again, with an electric car you can just recharge the batteries to refuel the vehicle. Hybrid and electric cars can definitely have a positive effect on our environment. However, negative effects also exist and need to be considered. Starting with the positive, hybrid vehicles, depending on their size, produce anywhere between 10 to 21% less smog than gasoline-run cars. Smog is one of the major negative effects that automobiles cause on our environment, especially in heavy polluted cities. So any reduction in the amount being transmitted is good for our environment. Another positive impact on our environment is that hybrid and electric vehicles both have electric motors, and electric motors have no tailpipe emissions at all. A negative impact of hybrid and electric cars can result depending on where the electricity to charge the vehicles is coming from. Some states get electricity from coal-burning power plants, which produce harmful emissions into our environment. According to an Ohio State University study, charging your electric vehicle in one of these states can produce power plant emissions that can be just as harmful, if not more, as tailpipe emissions. Finally, another environmental hazard can result if the batteries used to run the hybrid and electric vehicles are not recycled or disposed correctly, since they have nickel in them. There are many pros and cons of owning either a hybrid or an electric car. Starting with the hybrids, these cars get almost twice as much mileage when compared to their gasoline-fueled counterparts. Also, the gasoline motor on the hybrid is only used as a backup when needed, resulting in fewer tailpipe emissions, which is better for the environment. A con of hybrid vehicles is that it has lower power output compared to gasoline-fueled cars. This means that they do not accelerate or run as fast as conventional cars. Another con is that hybrid cars can have higher maintenance costs due to the complexity of having both a gasoline and electric motor that work together. Electric cars also have their own pros and cons. One pro of electric vehicles is that they are cheaper to operate than gasoline-fueled cars. In fact, studies have found that the cost per mile to fuel an electric vehicle is nearly 3 times less than the cost of gasoline. Another pro is that you can recharge your car right at home. All you have to do is plug your car into a charging inlet. This is a lot simpler and more convenient than having to drive the nearest gas station when you need fuel. Some cons of electric vehicles include the limited range and the long refueling time. Most electric vehicles can only drive 80 to 100 miles before they need to refuel again. Also, it takes about an hour for the car to refuel 20 to 25 miles of range. These two factors lead many people to have anxiety about driving an electric car. They often fear that they won't have enough fuel to make it to their trip, or have enough time to refuel if they need to. Hybrid and electric vehicles can make great alternatives to the conventional gasoline-fueled cars. Both hybrid vehicles with the dual gasoline and electric motor, and electric vehicles with strictly the electric motor, can help our environment in many ways. However, it is important to keep in mind that there can also be negative impacts on our environment due to these vehicles. It is also important to consider both the pros and the cons of each when deciding to make the switch from a gasoline-fueled car to either a hybrid or electric one. Hybrid and electric cars are both unique and fascinating in their own ways and are just one of the many ways to help improve our environment.